My wife cheated on me with my dad, so I invited them to my wedding. I stood at the altar, smiling. Not because I was marrying the love of my life, but because in the crowd sat my now ex-wife and my father, holding hands under the table, and neither of them knew that I knew everything. This was not a wedding. It was a funeral. For their lies. This one's been eating at me for a long time. I am Zach, 29, male. I was married to Sarah, 28, for 3 years. She was my college sweetheart, my ride or die, the woman I thought I'd grow old with. Turns out, she was also sleeping with my father. Yeah, buckle up. At first, it was nothing, just small things, ordinary moments that, on their own, felt harmless. But looking back, every coincidence was a breadcrumb, leading me straight to the truth I didn't want to see. It started around our second anniversary. Sarah began laughing at my dad's jokes a little too hard. You know the kind? The polite chuckle you give to someone older? At first, I thought it was sweet. I remember thinking, wow, she really gets along with my family. But the laughter lingered longer than it should, even when the joke wasn't funny, even when it was at my expense. Then came the body language. Subtle shifts. When my dad entered the room, her posture straightened. She brushed her hair behind her ear. She used to do that with me, when we were dating, and she still wanted me to notice her. One time, we were hosting a small barbecue. I went inside to grab drinks. When I came back, I caught them in the middle of a low conversation. They both went silent the moment they saw me. Sarah coughed and grabbed a plate. My dad just smiled and said, just telling her old stories. But neither of them looked at me. Not really. I brushed it off. Because what kind of sick mind suspects their wife of sleeping with their father, right? Over the next few months, my dad became overly available. Need a shelf fixed? He was there in 20 minutes. Car battery acting up? He was there in under 10 minutes. He even started showing up when I wasn't home, saying things like, thought I'd surprise you guys. Once, I found him in our kitchen, making omelets. For her. She was still in her pajamas. He grinned and said, she told me you left early, so I thought I'd make sure she eats. They both laughed. I laughed too. But my gut twisted. Then came the weird gifts. A new watch, which I assumed was from me, until I realized I'd never bought it. A spa voucher she claimed she won from work. And a necklace I saw her wearing at dinner. When I asked where it came from, she said, oh, you've seen this before. No, I hadn't. Later, I found a receipt in the trash, not even well hidden, with my dad's name on it. It matched the jeweler's name engraved on the box. The turning point? Christmas. We always spend it at my mom's place, the whole family. But that year, my mom was out of town visiting her sister. We decided to keep things small at our place. Just me, Sarah, and Dad. He brought wine. She made her famous roast chicken. At one point, I stepped out to take a call from a client. It lasted about 10 minutes. When I came back inside, the living room was quiet. Too quiet. I walked toward the kitchen and stopped. They weren't touching, not kissing, not even holding hands. But they were standing way too close, whispering. Her hand was on the counter, and his hand hovered just above it, like he'd just moved it. When they noticed me, they both jumped. Sarah dropped her wine glass. My dad suddenly remembered he had to call someone. I didn't say a word, but the moment he left that night, I started digging. She deleted most of her chats. Nothing suspicious in her main apps. But I checked her photo gallery, synced to the cloud. There were hidden folders of someone saved as Mona. Photos of my dad, shirtless and worse, nude. Photos of her in lingerie, in the guest room of his house. Hundreds of messages with Mona, graphic messages, plans to meet when I was away. They had been at it for 2 whole years, even when we were trying for a baby. And my father? He coached me through our fights, told me to be patient with her. The entire time, he was literally inside her. That's when the nausea hit me. The kind that comes with heartbreak and disgust rolled into one. I looked back on every odd moment. The late-night sink repair. The morning he dropped off tools and stayed for coffee. The inside jokes between them I was never part of. The way she'd sometimes slip up and call him babe, only to laugh it off as a joke. I remembered the time I walked into the room and they both stopped laughing immediately. The way he always insisted on hugging her a little too tight when saying goodbye. I had been watching the movie of my own humiliation, in real time. I just didn't have the script. I didn't confront her, not right away. I wanted to make it hurt. I work in event planning, and I had this massive high-budget wedding booked for a client who ended up calling off their engagement. The venue was non-refundable, so I rebranded it as my own wedding. I now had 3 months to plan my wedding to someone new. Let's call her Maya for the purposes of this story. Maya wasn't just a rebound. She was someone I'd started seeing quietly after I emotionally left the marriage. She knew everything. She was all in. We sent out invites. Not under my name, of course. Different last name, different first name on the RSVP. I invited Sarah and my dad, told them it was a business associate's wedding I was helping organize, and I wanted them there as guests. They showed up, together. My dad wore his old suit. Sarah wore a dress I bought her 2 anniversaries ago. At the wedding, I walked down the aisle. Maya was by my side. Sarah's face was priceless. I took the mic before the ceremony started, cleared my throat. Thank you all for coming. Some of you know this is more than just a wedding. This is a reunion, a reckoning, A confession booth. With cake. People laughed. Nervous energy. I pointed to Sarah and my dad. I'd like to give a special thanks to two guests who taught me that love is fragile, and betrayal is a family business. Gasps. Silence. Sarah looked like she saw a ghost. Dad went pale. I pulled out printed screenshots, read their texts aloud. Can't wait to taste you again. Your husband has no idea. And the pièce de résistance, I wish you were mine instead. People were frozen. I looked right at them. You two are perfect for each other. That's why I brought you here. To end it. To bury it. To watch me move on. Maya kissed me. The room erupted. Sarah ran out crying. Dad followed her like a guilty dog. Needless to say, Maya and I did not wed that day. It was the beginning of a new relationship. We ate and enjoyed the rest of the evening with our guests. I blocked them both after that day. 60 days later, Sarah and we're officially divorced. I haven't spoken to either since. Turns out, my mom suspected it too. She divorced my dad quietly 6 months later. Told me she finally felt free. As for Sarah, she tried messaging me several times. Apologies, please, begging. She even sent me a text that the relationship with my dad could not work. It was as if once me and my mom were not in the picture, the relationship stopped being fun for both of them. I replied with a single message. Enjoy your karma. Maya and I travel a lot. We laugh a lot. We don't keep secrets. We have a great relationship. My mom is happy for us. She decided to remain single and enjoy her solitude. And every time I hear the word wedding, I remember the day I burned 2 traitors with one flame. If you're listening to this and thinking, that's too much, you should have just walked away. You've clearly never had your heart crushed by the 2 people you trusted the most. Sometimes closure isn't quiet. It's a grand finale. Would I do it again? In a heartbeat. And to Sarah and Dad, if you're hearing this, I hope the cake was worth it. What would you have done in my shoes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you think that was savage, you haven't heard the one about the time my best friend stole my identity. Subscribe for more true stories where karma doesn't wait.